guys, what's up? It's GVKcollectibles, and today it's Flashback Friday, so you know what that means. We're going to be taking a look at a figure from the past, and this one is one I'm very excited about. I love this figure so much. It is the Neca 1964 Godzilla from Mothra vs. Godzilla. What's up, guys? As I said, today we're going to be this is a flashback review, of course, so we're going to be taking a look at the Neca Godzilla vs. Godzilla against Mothra, or Mothra vs. Godzilla 1964 Godzilla design. Now, this design came out before I actually started the YouTube channel. This was actually one of the last few figures Neca released of Godzilla, and this one's amazing. Like, I have this one in my collection still, and actually, depending on which one is of the better one is, I'm probably actually going to be keeping this one, and I'm going to be getting rid of my other one. But this Godzilla is so cool. So first things first, pretty much like how the 1962 King Kong vs. Godzilla started with the Neca, they started using the Ultimate style box, and also with the movie posters from the films themselves, which is really, really cool. And this wonderful shot of the Japanese poster of Mothra vs. Godzilla, which looks absolutely amazing, and also known as Godzilla vs. the Thing here in the United States at the time, which is very, very funny, because for me, when I saw that, I think when I was young, when I learned about that, I thought he was fighting John Carpenter's The Thing, which that would actually be really, really cool. But you get another profile shot of Mothra vs. Godzilla, the wonderful poster, and it's technically Godzilla against Mothra, which is very interesting. You also get the 65th anniversary logo behind there. So this came out in 2019, which feels like forever ago, man. This came out during King of the Monsters, which is really, really cool. Then right here you get some cool back shots of Godzilla himself, which looks really, really cool. Then you open up the packaging, and you see Godzilla right there inside with another cool production shot with the two Mothra larvas, which looks super cool. I always love the Hound, and also Mothra at the top. I really loved how Neca really designed these boxes after they started to go with this kind of box style with the King Kong vs. Godzilla and the subsequent figures in the line. I really enjoyed this box, and it kind of really makes me miss these figures. So it's very, for me, it's weird to say because this figure's only a few years old, but it's weirdly nostalgic to open this up again. Because it's just so cool. It's just a happy point in my life of where we're getting these really, really cool, affordable, articulated Godzilla figures. Of course, you get the bottom of the packaging with everything there. Unlike the other Neca figures, these Godzilla figures don't have credits, but I know that I think David Silva actually did the sculpting for this particular figure, which is really, really good. And it's just a beautiful figure. I'm very happy to have this guy again to review. So with that out of the way, let's get Godzilla out of the packaging. Here is the 1964 Neca Godzilla out of the packaging, and once again, something that I suggest with these Godzilla figures, if you get them secondhand, of course, before you really start playing with them and posing them, I would suggest just putting them in hot water, because a lot of the joints are very, very stiff, and you don't want to risk any breakage. I've kind of learned that the hard way with a lot of Neca figures. I gotta say, I am pretty good with breakage QC issues being kind of here or there on my Neca figures, but other than that, I think it's the figure's really, really good, really solid figure. Once again, this figure came out in 2019, and this sculpt is still really, really amazing and really well done. This design is really, really cool, really iconic design for the 1964 Godzilla. This was pretty much his fourth design at the time after the 1962 Godzilla, and I really, really like it. He has a really cool, memorable entrance in Mothra vs. Godzilla, where he basically comes out of the dirt, and you're like, how did Godzilla get there? But it is really, really cool. I love the sculpting. I love the paint detail on this figure. It looks absolutely phenomenal. The bendable tail that Neca continuously used after 62 is shown in this. And it also has the atomic breath effect, which is really, really cool, and a really cool addition to the figures that they started to do at that point. So with that out of the way of me talking about kind of the greater details and everything of just my general impressions of why I love this figure. Let's jump into the accessories. He only has one, which will be very quick. Then we'll jump into the great details of the figure, the articulation, size comparisons, and like final thoughts if you can find this guy and see if this guy is worth picking up. As I said, guys, the 64 Godzilla only comes with one accessory, and it is this atomic breath effect, which looks really great, really beautiful. They actually this is actually the same one that they used for the GMK atomic breath version, which was very weird at the time. I didn't actually get the figure. It wasn't until it got its reissue that I decided to get it. But yeah, these atomic breath pieces are practically the same, painted a little differently, and I gotta say, these are really sculpted really nicely. I love the look of this atomic breath piece on the 1964 Godzilla. I love all like the kind of paint detailing. Like you get the whites and the translucent plastic, which looked really good, and it looks really like it's coming up on like over here. It's coming up on camera. It looks really cool, but it's really cool when you got it shining in light. Especially it's a very kind of translucent plastic with like hints of white throughout, which look really phenomenal. I really enjoy this piece. And as I said, this is the only piece it comes with, but it's a pretty cool accessory. I'm really glad they included it with this figure. And here we have a close-up of Goji himself, the 64 Goji. This design, as I said, is really cool. Probably one of my favorite Shoei designs. I mean, the 1954 one is up there. I really like the 1962 and the 70s designs in general, like from Godzilla vs. Godzilla vs. Megalon, all the way to Terror of Godzilla are some of my favorites, but I really enjoy this look of Godzilla. It looks very beautiful, very good looking. Godzilla, as you see, there's a lot of great paint detailing throughout the figure. It is this kind of flat, kind of, not gray I would say, but like kind of a charcoal looking color. It looks really good with shades of kind of like this light kind of gray throughout, kind of to see the scales of Godzilla, which are not really scales, they're actually Caligio scars from like they're based, his like scales are actually based off like the burns of atomic bomb victims, and they kind of continue that tradition here with this figure, which looked really good. It wasn't until like when I think 2014 came out, I realized, like, I learned that these were actually like his scales weren't really scales, they're just Caligio scars, like the atomic burns from the atomic bomb, which is very scary. But the sculpting on this figure is absolutely phenomenal. Neca did a really, whoever did the sculpting for this particular figure did a wonderful job, I think, with this design. It's very cool, very harkens, like, very Shoei Godzilla. This is actually one of my favorite ones. I haven't actually played with this one in my collection for quite a while, but, like, I loved, like, playing with this, just doing outlandish things with it, like it fighting Pennywise, the dancing clown, which is really funny, like a giant Pennywise. But, yeah, the detailing on the tail is really good. Like, you can get that kind of detailing throughout. The dorsal fins look absolutely phenomenal. They got this kind of light gray, this kind of like light dark gray, then you get the kind of shading pattern throughout the whole figure, which looks really good. The eyes look super cool on this guy. I love the yellow, and like the inside of the mouth looks phenomenal as well. The red and the teeth look really great. One of I think NECA's greatest sculpts, I think, for this particular figure. It's really well done. And also, he's got the 3 feet with the 3 toes, which I think was like a standard for Godzilla for quite a bit. I know the 54 design actually had he actually has 4 toes, so it is really interesting. They went with more of a dino kind of look to it. Feet look really good. They are a little, like, while I do like the 1962 King Kong vs. Godzilla design, I will say with that particular sculpt, the feet are relatively flat. With this, you kind of get the same, maybe like a little issue, but at the same time, they like alleviated of where it doesn't look too, like he's not too flat foot. Like the foot sculpted, like actually they try to do with the sculpting and everything, they actually bend into the upper like thigh right here, which is really good. But yeah, and Godzilla tank. But it's really good. I really love this figure. The sculpting detail on it is quite phenomenal, and it looks really, really good. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the articulation for this Godzilla figure. Then we'll get into some size comparisons, see what like compared to the other figures, and my final thoughts on the figure. Alright, and for Godzilla's articulation, he can't really look up all too well, but he can look down thanks to the ball joint in the neck and the head, and also the neck too. You can move side to side. Same thing with the head too, which is really, really good. You can move left to right, which is really, really great. Look up. Articulated jaw for the atomic breath, which is really, really great as well. His arms can move, are kind of like on a hinge system, so they can move out that far. They are double jointed elbows, well, single jointed elbows, and they also got a hinge that rotates all around, and they can move up and down. They also have the little finger articulation, which is very, very cool and very unique, so you can get your Godzilla into like kind of different like kind of grabby hand poses, which is really, really great. His chest, you can move up that forth and move back actually that far, which is really, really cool, so you can get him into like a really, really good straight pose, like standing pose, which is really, really nice. I think the legs are on a ball joint, so they're able to move out that way. They can move up, move back. Single jointed elbows, which is kind of, single jointed knee, which is kind of but it's actually kind of okay. He kind of has a bit of an ankle pivot thanks to it being a ball joint at the bottom, but you're able to get the articulation in you're able to get this guy, I think, into some pretty good fighting and articulation like poses, which is something you really want with your Godzilla figure. Then also the tail has one, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points of articulation, which is really, really good. And much better than the bending wire, but you could do lots of cool things with the tail. If actually Neca ever did that King Ghidorah from King of the Monsters, like this is kind of like what I would figure the King Ghidorah would be, because I feel like this is very, very solid, like, for the most part. Like, granted, if you do forcefully it, but it's pretty good. So, as I said, the articulation for the Godzilla is, 1964 Godzilla is pretty good, pretty standard for what these figures were at the time, and they're still, like, I say at the time, but they're still, like, the articulation is really, really good. Some of the best kind of articulation at the affordable price of, like, $20 you could have gotten at the time, or $24, I think it was $24.99 at the time, for this particular figure, which is really, really cool. It really much beats the SH Monster Art one in terms of really scale. While that one looks really, really cool, SH Monster Art had a weird point where they're like, we're gonna try to do accurate scales, and it doesn't work, and it also is kind of weird. I mean, they kind of did that with the 1954 one, but like at that point too, it looks relatively to scale with other SH Monster Art figures. Like the 1954 design is a little bit smaller, but other than that, but yeah, he's got pretty good articulation for this particular Godzilla figure. I'm really happy with the articulation with the Godzilla figures to this point, which I was really, really happy about. So with that out of the way, let's get into some size comparisons to see what he scales with. And here he is compared to some other figures. Of course, we got the Marvel Legends Moon Knight, the Ben Affleck Batman from the Snyder Cut, Justice League Snyder Cut, Cad Bane from the Black Series, and also we got the Mark 5B Spartan from the Spartan collection from Wicked Cool Toys. And he's, he's about regular scale for about a technically he's a 6-inch figure. He actually looks like he's a little taller or on par with Batman, maybe just because of how I have Batman posed right now. It's a little kind of awkward to tell, but he is a pretty big figure as always. It's kind of hard to compare him to other human figures, so let's compare to some other monster figures. Here he is compared to some other Godzillas. We have the Neca 1962 Godzilla, the SH Monster Art 1954 Godzilla, the 1968 Bandai Monster Movie Series Godzilla, and the Funko Pop Godzilla, common Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong. And, he's about bigger scale. He's actually relatively bigger than the 1962 Godzilla design. He is pretty big. This guy was kind of their first step into doing, more improved articulation, better kind of design here and there, also the idea of the articulated tail. This was the first one to use it. This is technically the second one to use it. And it is just really cool because we got this cool, little lineup of Shoei Designs, of course. As I said, the SH Monster Art 1954 design is a little smaller, but at the same time, it's relatively, like, on par. It's not ridiculously small. I think it was this guy was actually a little tinier, although I could be completely wrong. I don't own the 64 design, so yeah, there's some other figures. And for one last fun little comparison, here he's compared to the Raymond Toys Behemoth, the Bandai Creation Gigan, the Bandai Creation Mechagodzilla from, like, I think a while ago, and the brand new Jet Jaguar from the Monster movie series from Bandai. Here we have Godzilla pinning down Mothra with his atomic breath, and since it's his main adversary in Mothra vs. Godzilla, of course. Overall thoughts on this figure, I still really love this figure. I think it is a phenomenal looking figure. I think it is really, really great. Some of NECA's best work with the Godzilla license, in my opinion. I really love this, and the last two that they did was the 2003 and the 89 design. I really enjoyed the Godzilla from NECA as a whole. It's really, really cool to get, like, really affordable Godzilla figures, and it really got me, thanks to them, it got me really back into collecting Godzilla as a whole. I didn't really collect all too much. I really collected only Godzilla himself. But then, of course, as soon as King of the Monsters came out, they did Rodan and Mothra. I started to actually branch off with more companies to do collecting more figures, like this Mothra right here from, it's the movie Monster Series Mothra from, I think, Tokyo SOS? I'm not completely sure. It's either Tokyo SOS or the 1992 Mothra. But either way, I got a lot. I have to thank them a lot, NECA, for getting me back into Godzilla and to collecting Godzilla. I just continuously love this character. He's very much my comfort character. Once again, overall design, the details on the figure look phenomenal. The sculpting, really, really great. NECA did a fantastic job of kind of like doing a really, really cool version of the 1964 design. I really love that design in particular. Wasn't used all too much. I think it was only really used in that one film, and maybe that suit was used in subsequent films just for like as a double suit, or like a stunt suit essentially. So, but yeah, overall, I really love this figure. And if you guys can find this guy, he is a little expensive just because he is out of print. There is no way you can, NECA isn't making these anymore. They are out of print. They go for kind of ridiculous prices. I think they go for like $50 for some reason on, like Mercari and eBay, which is just crazy to me. Because these were just like, you could find abundance of these at Target. So either way, if you can find this guy at a decent price, I totally suggest picking him up because he will make a great addition to your collection. So with that being said, that's Figure Review Friday for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit like and subscribe and hit the little bell notification so you get notified when we upload Mythical Mountain Monday. There it is. What's in the Box Wednesday and Figure Review Fridays. Also check us out on Mercari and of course our Instagrams and my Facebook page is down below as well. So with that being said, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hopefully your weekend is great and safe, and peace, y'all.